We have got to stop it from rolling it backwards before we can move it forward. But just real quick, I spent about 34 years as a Navy Seabee. That means I was more Marine than sailor. We were all Marines. I retired as the commander of the Seabee Division with 16,000 Seabees after kicking Saddam out of Baghdad, fighting the battles of Fallujah. And I ended up in the Navy to avoid being drafted, and my draft number was 12. But I ended up in Vietnam as well. So I served from Vietnam through Fallujah. And after that, I'm an engineer by trade, and went back to Iraq in terms of doing construction as president of the International Construction Company, and then formed my own company in 2012, and took 2016 off to serve as one of President Trump's national security advisors during the campaign, and then went back to work and built 145 miles of border wall before they shut us down. And I guess it's not a secret now, but in October, before the election, President Trump asked me to be Undersecretary of Homeland Security. But I got to tell you, it would be a different country today. But maybe I dodged the bullet. I don't know. But again, right now I'm here today as the national spokesman for Veterans for America First, which is a derivative organization of Veterans for Trump. And we have a number of different entities that are associated with this, 501c4, the Political Action Committee, 501c3, C19, or Veterans Services. And our focus is on helping veterans transition. There's a lot of programs out there for our disabled veterans, for veterans who need help, but everybody needs help, finding a house, getting a job, taking care of their health transition, and most importantly, when they resettle, finding a church so they can reconnect with their faith. So those are our four principles. But what I've been talking to veterans about, and it applies here in Virginia for sure, is that we honor them for their service. We will help them in their transition, but they're not done yet. We need them in our communities. We need them to realize that those who would take our Constitution away from us are organized, they're vicious, and they enjoy doing this, mostly because they have no capability of doing anything else. And we're back trying to work, we're trying to raise our families, we want our kids to go to school, we want our grandkids to grow up in a free and united America. And so we need the veterans to speak out. We need them to be the voices in their community. We want to try to help them, support particularly the candidates who are running to run themselves, and that's kind of our focus. And as we then look at Virginia, between us and New Jersey, and I'm not sure what's going on in New Jersey, but we're going to be in the national spotlight. And in many cases, we used to talk about all politics being local, not this time. This is going to be a national referendum. And from a Virginia perspective, there's lots of issues we could talk about. And you can debate, and you can have policy papers, and you can be eloquent, and you can get stumped, but I see only one issue. And that issue is, do we want Virginia to become California and be ruled by Washington, D.C.? And I'm saying the answer is no. And somehow we have to find a way to articulate that, not to our voters, they're going to be there for us. We've got to be bold. We've got to go to the opposition's voters. And we've got to cast this decision in terms that they can understand. Now, I know we have a number of people running. This is a primary, and they're all good people. But I don't think they have the guts to do what needs to be done. And I see three candidates for state office here tonight, in Amanda, Winston, and of course my Marine buddy Chuck here.
Winston, yes.
I said Winston.
Okay.
And, you know, they have the guts. And, you know, we're going to have to take this to Terry McAuliffe. We're going to have to connect him to the Clintons. We're going to have to connect them to the Epsteins. We're going to have to connect them to child, you know, pornography and everything else that pedophilia that they're involved in. We're going to have to do that, even though they're going to call us names, even though they're going to try to cancel us. We have got to get into their faces. If you look back at our country's history, we didn't all of a sudden decide on July 4th, 1776, that we're going to sign this Declaration of Independence. It built up. I was telling Amanda, you know, I had it on my bookcase for years, and I just a couple months ago read O'Reilly's book on killing England. He actually does a really good job pointing out things that I had never even knew, details, people, and about what happened from 1750, 60, 76, how it led to when in the course of human events, you know, and all the list of grievances, and how people died, how people sacrificed their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor, building up to that, and never knew how it turned out. And then even after we had the first shots fired at Lexington, which maybe our first shots were fired at us on January 6th.
Right.
It took a lot of people to finally break out and say, I can stand up. I don't have to listen to what the King of England, you know, is saying. But even then, we had problems. I didn't realize this, even getting the Constitution ratified, there was a big compromise between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Those who wanted strong central government and those who wanted their rights protected. But according to O'Reilly, Benjamin Franklin crafted the compromise that said, if you ratify the Constitution, we will add the Bill of Rights. And so they're part and parcel of the same. And we know that that Bill of Rights is under attack by today's Federalists who want to have strong central control from Washington, D.C. And those of us who want to just be left alone, we can pretend that they'll leave us alone, but they won't. And so we know that we're in an age where we are internationally under cyber attack. But internally, we are fighting an information civil war. And we need to look at it that way. It's an information operation, and we need to figure out how we take these three candidates, get them nominated, and then support them with the messaging that they're going to need so that they can basically reach out to these voters and tell them there's only one issue. Do you want to control your life, or do you want to be controlled? Do you want your kids to go to school, or do you want some bureaucrat to say, not yet? Do you want your ability to protect yourself, or do you want somebody to say, we'll protect you, and then defund the police? So these are ancillary issues to the question of where will Virginia be controlled? Will we be able to control ourselves from Richmond as free, Virginians, proud of our heritage, or will we be controlled, another 50 miles up the road by those in D.C.? So again, I've taken too much time, but I know the folks here are committed. You all energize me, and I hope that we all can energize you. And so back to Daryl, and thank you very much. And let's take it to him.